Purchase an eligible new 30 to 450 horsepower Yamaha outboard and get up to 7 years of coverage protection, plus up to $500 in dealer credit, or earn up to $700 in dealer credit on eligible 2.5 to 25 horsepower models. Fall into savings today.
The ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
I'm Jim Hutchinson with a New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025, and this is your video fishing forecast as we head into this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, November 15th and 16th. Now, first and foremost, I will remind you that the tog limits in New Jersey will go to 5 fish as of this Sunday, November 16th. So if you're hunting down a personal best, like longtime Fisherman subscriber John Bercini on the cover of this week's Digital Weekly, well, just know a lot of boats are changing over to blackfish, tog, as of Sunday and heading into next work week, starting on Monday. So you do have that option back in play. Also, as a reminder to our paid subscribers, this week's Digital Weekly edition, the one with John on the cover, it's issue 37 of 38 for the year. This Sunday, we're going to print with the December edition. That's issue 38. So our weeklies will not return until April. That said, we still compile fishing reports every single week. We do that every Sunday. They're posted at thefisherman.com every Monday. And of course, we will continue with this video fishing forecast every week, 52 weeks a year, unless a leap year. Does that make it 53? No, sorry. It's not a leap year coming up, by the way. So only 28 days of February, which means once the January 1st striped bass closure in the back bays starts, we only have 28 days as opposed to 29. Of course, all eyes in our reports up and down the coast every week at this point for the last couple of weeks has been the eye on the tog return as of Sunday, and of course the next arrival of migratory striped bass from the east, which have been slow to really materialize in any great numbers. Now, heading into this past weekend, I was still hearing of blitzes up around the Breezy Point area, West End, Long Island, right on the border of Brooklyn and Long Island. In fact, if you go to thefisherman.com, not just for the New Jersey fishing reports, but you can check in with the West End report, Bernie's Bait and Tackle in Brooklyn, get a look at the fact that fish were still hugging the South Shore Long Island beaches through this past weekend. Now, in last week's video fishing forecast for Long Island and Metro New York, Calvin from Fishing the Atlantic, a regular contributor to Matt's weekly report in Long Island, he had video working over those bunker schools off the West End South Shore beaches, right around Deb's Inlet, Breezy Point, that particular area. Again, those fish are still to our north, at least another wave or two of big fish, still to our north and to our east. And hopefully we'll see them really kind of invade our beaches at some point very soon. This week in Matt's forecast, Chris Landry had this to say.
Reporting live outside Bernie's Bait and Tackle. November might be the best fishing month, but also the worst with the weather. There's still plenty of stripers. The fall run is in full effect. The stripers are getting a little smaller every week though, but they're still out there. Tons of birds, bass, blitzes, sand eels. Also, the bluefin tuna is great right now. We've been crushing them out there. We'll be going for them this weekend if weather permits. Just watching it day by day. And remember, it's catch and release only, and you still have to report your catch. It only takes a couple minutes. Just call the number, report your catch, super easy. All right. We'll be out there as much as we can until about December 1st, and then it will be a wrap. But it's great right now, so get out there every day you can. Hit us up. We'd love to take you out. All right? Be safe out there. Get tight.
So, yeah, I definitely think it's been a weird fall so far, unlike the ones we've had in recent years, where it's not hard to find striped bass on the beaches of Ocean and Monmouth County this time of year. Yes, perhaps we're a little spoiled by scenes like this. It was 3 years ago this week up in Sandy Hook, Seabright, that particular area. That's Shell Carrots. You'll see him in the mix here during a peanut bunker blitz. Striped bass feasting on peanut bunker in the Monmouth County surf, which, by the way, over the weekend, when I was doing a little bit of work in my neighborhood, I saw the peanut bunker still flashing in the little creek right off the Barnegat Bay. That's upper stretches of Barnegat Bay in the Brick area. So peanuts still in the back, maybe not good numbers or amazing numbers. We had that whale come in Manasquan Inlet last week, so there's definitely some bait back there. I know a lot of folks are bemoaning the fact that we're not seeing those same blitzes as the one I just showed you, and I'm probably the complainer in chief. But I still see the light through striper-colored lenses at this point. I believe that we're still going to see some bedlam, especially in the north-central region before too long. How long that lasts, you know, you think back the last couple of years, once that action started, it was like every single day. Folks were taking a lunch break, going out with the blitzes still going on, going and grabbing a sliced pizza, coming back, and the blitzes were still going in. That said, I have mentioned in the last several weeks my belief that those bigger migratory stripers, while not yet that fish in a barrel sticking to one spot on the bait schools, I do believe they're going to be spread out, or that they have spread out up and down the Jersey coast. Case in point, doing the reports this past Sunday, Anthony Califano, who's our South Jersey field editor, he got late word Sunday afternoon, November 9th, from the crew at Fanatics in Ocean City. Some big stripers hit the beaches there along the beachfront. Customers like Jimmy Snyder. They had some slot fish, some chunky striped bass there taking chunked bunker along the beaches of now that's Cape May County. So you've got Atlantic County, Cape May County, again, spread out a little bit. In fact, going down to Delaware Bay, the crew at Higbee's reported back to Anthony on Sunday that the greater area of the bay saw a few stripers caught by the party boat fleet last week with fish in the keeper slot range. In fact, that prompted Captain Jim aboard the Miss Fortescue to plan a trip this Saturday, November 15th, in search of stripers and tog on Delaware Bay. The tog are still snapping pretty hard around the lighthouses and rock piles. You get back from that trip, by the way, at 2 p.m., gives you a chance to grab a bite to eat maybe and enjoy one of the best sunsets that you'll ever experience in New Jersey, that along the beach at Fortescue Beach. Incredible town. That option is available for you. If your boat is still in the water, there are stripers to be had in the back bays, especially central South Jersey. Try those paddle tails and plastics in the deeper holes. Get up along those sedges and sod banks with the topwaters, small poppers or small pencils, small gliders, dusk and dawn. Great time of year to get some of those fish. I actually had several, before I pulled my boat out this week, was out on Saturday. I had a half dozen small fish just as the sun was kissing the marshes, and I had one in a 32 inch range. I let him go because once again, I got another trouble in my leg. So once a fish hooks me, he gets a reprieve. Blackfish action, as I remembered, as I said before, is still surprisingly good out back. Another South Jersey report this week out of Margate from Ray at Scott's Dock tells of one customer who returned with a report of a 7-pounder and a 5-pounder, along with other countless releases. Ray suggested green crabs fished along the sod banks or the bridges as working well. Those fishing with tog jigs seem to be finding the larger fish. Chris Gunther checked in with me again from out there behind Ocean City on Saturday. He was trying for striped bass and tog on the outgoing tide with his wife Danielle and son Jackson. Said they were able to get on a couple of fish. Dad Chris put them on fish from 14 inches to 17.5 inches. 15 inches, of course, is your keeper tog. They were using green crabs on the pilings and steep drop-offs. Now, unfortunately, Chris said they didn't stumble in any stripers over the weekend. The reports that I had over the weekend and what I saw firsthand too is it was still stained water from all of that blow. But look for things to clean up this weekend. Again, if you've got the boat in the water, in the back bays, if you're looking for stripers or tog out back. It has been cold. It's been windy. We went from like 70 degrees to the 30s practically overnight. It's where it's supposed to be this time of year, although with old bones like myself, I would have liked a slow transition going 70, 60, 50, you know, something like that. But it's cold. It's fall. That's what's supposed to happen. As for those winds, howling west, northwest, all of this week, very stiff. As for looking at the inshore marine forecast out of Atlantic City, more of those offshore winds forecast in the days ahead. But boy, oh boy, I hope you're free on Saturday to fish by beach or boat. Do expect some crowds. Look for the fleets. But it is lined up for some of those traditional fall blitzes as we go into Saturday for sure. Oh, please, let's do it. Let's hope. We'll check in from the North Country with a few good fish, as always. But first, a little tease for you on this week's edition of Open Boat with Jenny Ackerman. That's going to be on the Fisherman's YouTube page this Sunday night. Jenny talks with local plug builder Jesse Stanislaw about his stride bait, something for you perhaps to think about adding to the plug bag as we head into this weekend.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Open Boat. We are on the beach, ready to catch some fish, and I have a very special guest with me today, guys. Jesse, who makes the stride baits right there, and he's gonna be showcasing why they just are ultimate fish catchers. He's gonna give us a little tutorial on how to work them in the surf, and hopefully we'll get on some fish. Let's see how it goes, right?
That's the plan.
World-famous fishing action. Plan your perfect trip today. Tropic Star Lodge, the ultimate in fishing adventures for more than 60 years.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
So where are all these beach fish? There's a few. I saw a 46-incher caught right next to me last week. Promised the young angler I would not share the video, but it was a good fish, fat, chunky. Did a great job doing that. It was fishing behind a bunker school, so we did have this little melee of bunker. They were being pushed by something, but nothing in the school. They really want those liveys still. Anyway, the school moved past us, and as I've experienced in the past, and other people will tell you, there are fish that are traveling behind that melee, just picking up the cripples, you know, what lays behind. This kid was throwing a kind of a stubby-looking metal, thin but stubby, long, elongated metal, and that really worked. You think about that on the boat, behind the bunker schools, if they're moving, let's say east to west, get on that east side, drop the flutter spoons, because that's where those crippled baits coming out of the school, that's really going to be keyed in real quickly. And you do the same thing in the surf as well. There are fish like this one, of course. Jose Lopez on the night bite in the Ocean County surf, outgoing tide. Jose told me he was throwing a tuna-colored Allen's Custom Combat lure for this catch and release jumbo. He had them on consecutive nights, 45.5 inches and 47.5 inches, night bite. William Coppola, too, said he was on the night bite. It's been all slot fish of late, especially by day, but he had this one in the surf the other night that hit a teaser, and that's a good sign. Hitting some of those smaller baits. Yes, elephants do hit peanuts. Speaking of which, as I noted in last week's video, talking about it a lot of different baits out there. You've got the small, medium, and adult bunkers, the peanuts, the cupcakes, and the adults. You've got chub mackerel on rainfish. The rainfish are around, of course. Clouds of sand eels off the beach, which hopefully those sand lances, those sea lances, sand lances, sand eels, hopefully they'll set up for their nightly residence right along the shore. That's usually what happens. We see that happening later in the fall, early winter. Those sand eels come in tight right at dusk. They burrow in the sand for the night, and then they wake up in the morning at dawn, and who's waiting for them? Striped bass, and hopefully you with that tsunami sand eel as well. That has also brought the bluefin tuna in close, just outside of casting range, sometimes in casting range. They're feeding on bunker, they're feeding on sand eels, and if you're lucky enough to see some of those bluefin crashing on baits, it's an amazing sight. Now, Captain Gene Quigley was out aboard his Real Freedom last week, chasing stripers, I believe, with a client, and those piles of sand eels, an 80-pound bluefin tuna grabbed his tsunami sand eel imitation and was soon released. I always wondered about those tsunami sand eels, if they hold up to really good fish. There's your answer. When you think about this, think about Billy Coppola's teaser caught fish. Make sure you have those Ava jigs in the bag, the varied size tsunami sand eels, whatever your favorite sand eel imitation is, the runoff lures, I don't care, but be prepared to tie off a dropper loop as well in the surf in those times that you go from plugging to, let's say, jigging, essentially the slimmer profile, smaller presentations to try to get that match for sand eels. Now, in my jacket top, wherever it might be, in my waders or something, I always keep pre-tied leaders. Most of the times on my left-hand side, they're pre-tied leaders in little Ziploc bags that have the teasers on them. And on the other side, it's usually heavy, like 40-pound mono that doesn't have any teaser. I never understand. You don't want to retie on the fly when you're in one of those blitzes, right? You break off a fish or something happens, you got to retie. I don't know why. You know, I never understood guys in the surf. You see them, you might be one of them. You have like 4 spools of leader around your belt hanging. I always made me wonder, what do you have to? You pull out a stretch, you tie to the existing barrel, then you got to cut it, and then you got to put a tactical angler clip. I never quite understood that. I always wanted the pre-tied rigs all ready to go. Then I bumped into Frankie Z from Grumpy's over the weekend fishing along the beach. He showed me this little trick, and I thought this was really cool. We'll go full screen on this image, this first image. You see how Frankie has that spool of 40-pound leader material? He marked it off as 40 so he knows what it is. He's actually taken the line off the spool, rigged each one with a barrel and a snap, tactical angler clip there. Then he winds the pre-rigged leaders back on the spool. He attaches the clip to the barrel and then keeps going. So the line that he takes off the spool turns them into leaders and then spools them back on. So my apologies to those of you who've carried those spools of 30 and 40 and 50. If that's the way you do it, then you're smarter than I am for sure, and that's not really hard. But it's a cool idea, and it's one of those things you learn every day. You also learn in between bites when you start talking to guys. What's in your plug bag? You know, what do you catch them on? Not everybody's going to be friendly like that, but it's nice to get those tips along the beach. Learn something new every day. Like bumping into Shelly Karras the other day. What I learned is, and I always say that snag and drop is dead. Well, snag and drop isn't necessarily dead. Check out this legal snag rig. It was created by Stanley Gola. The folks at the Reel Seat in Brielle can't keep them in stock. They're moving so fast. So it's not a weighted treble. It's that single middle balance weight with 2 circles on the side. So you can snag a bunker like Shell has done here and live line it, and it's legal. If you're live lining with the old snatch rigs, if you're snagging and dropping using the old treble, it's bad. It's against the law and it's bad. And no, this is not legal. A buddy of mine made this up for me. He goes, "This is a legal snag rig. I added a blade and some feather. You can just cast it and reel it." No, that's not legal either. But tell you what, take a look at this legal snag rig. A couple of shops have them, and take a look for them because you might want to put that in there in the bag just in case you bump into one of these schools where they just won't take a pencil, they won't take a swim shad, they won't take anything but a live bunker. By boat, some impressive fish in the past week. Scott Adams tossing a dock along the surface on Raritan Bay. Monday, stripers were smashing bunker on top. So that's good to see a bunker school, one hot bunker school where you were able to get some plugs in. I love the top waters around those bunker schools this time of year. Lock it in, pencils, the pencils, the Polaris poppers, and of course the metal lip swimmers as well. Our cover boys of the week, Rob Crosley and his son, got on a hot bite along Island Beach State Park, live lining bunker from the wheel to the judge's shack. That was on Sunday, amidst miles and miles of bunker that weren't willing to come in tight for us surfcasters. But those fish are there. Vinny Vioro also got into the action with his son Luke off Island Beach over the weekend. They were fishing aboard their Sea-Doo and had fish of 38 and 46 inches also on live bunker. Bunker and sand eels, you can lock it in. Those are our predominant baits. I know I mentioned the rain baits, the tinkers, the bay anchovies, whatever, but those are the key baits that we have as we head into the second half of November and into December as well. Remember too, as the boys here on the Sea-Doo show you, you have to have those PFDs on your body. They have to be clipped on. They have to be U.S. Coast Guard approved PFD. If you're on a personal watercraft, a kayak, a canoe, any boat 26 feet or less in New Jersey that's underway, you've got to have that PFD on you. That is a new law that's in effect until May 1st. Saw some snow flurries this week. Sussex County, I believe, some in North Jersey as well. And as we check with George Shower, our Pocono Outdoors guy, looks like there's some of that white stuff on the ground at Beltsville as well.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. You know, a little bit of cold weather or even a few flakes here in the Poconos really chilling things down a little bit, so the late fall bite is definitely on. A couple of diehard guys have been out fishing. In fact, I know a few of these. They've probably already got their ice augers and tip-ups in the truck, don't think we're quite ready for that yet, but there's some really good fishing going on if you want to get out and brave the elements. We certainly had Chuck Manny out trying to get those muskies and being real successful. I know he's been hitting them hard the past few weeks and really getting on them good. Eric Fissler, his good friend, was out with him as well, also getting a couple really nice muskies. So great work there, fellas. You can't beat that. Also, we had our regular Jen Wong check in from New Jersey. He was out getting some stocky trout. Not too bad for this time of year. Stockies are always a fun thing to chase, especially when this cold weather hits. And we should have these trout bite pretty much the rest of the season, even in the winter. And we'll talk about that as the season goes on. You know, the wind and the snow earlier this week didn't keep guys off of places like Beltsville. I know the docks are off the lake, guys, but guys are still getting out and getting into some fish. We had Brad Frey was out with Fish Fever Guide Service, and he managed to get into one beast of a largemouth, something you don't normally see, especially out of Beltsville. It was almost 7 pounds. It was just under. So a really, really nice largemouth for Brad there. And even a couple of the other guys, they were getting into some great smallmouth. So the fishing is good, guys. If you want to get out, brave the elements, put your time in, you can certainly get onto some great fish. Well, I hope you guys get out on this week. Don't forget to drop us a note and let us know what you're getting on. But from Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
Introducing the Yakatack Sandrig Surf Cart, the ultimate beach hauler for serious anglers. Glide effortlessly over soft sand with wide balloon wheels and lightweight, corrosion-resistant construction that's completely customizable with options. Whether it's rods, coolers, or tackle, haul it all with ease. Built by surf fishermen and engineered by Yakatack.
This Sunday, as I said, we're going to be going to print with the December edition of the Fisherman Magazine, our holiday gift guide. We have over 70 gift ideas collected from staffers at the Fisherman. Might be unique for you to pick up some of these items for the holidays. And of course, as I mentioned last week, I'm going to detail the entire ASMFC striper decision from Dewey Beach, Delaware a couple of weeks ago. A lot of folks asking for more details and not knowing what exactly went down there and why the ASMFC voted status quo. Next week, a large article will explain how the vote went down there in Dewey Beach. As for that November edition, hopefully you still have that copy around. That's the one with Chris Pereira and the Tog on the cover. But there's a great story in there on page 16 and 17 by Captain Kwa Win. Now, while stripers, as I said, are kind of spread out more this season, and I thought that might happen, and I think that is happening, I still believe the North Coast, that's where things are going to be turning hot and heavy in the next week or so. My predictions have been miserable so far, so why shouldn't this one be the same? But I do believe that the North Jersey section from especially above Island Beach, that's where we're getting the most reports on big fish on those bunker schools. And Qua's article explains how trailering it makes so much sense to get around, even in a smaller skiff, to get in on that mayhem in other areas where it might not be happening close to home. Keep in mind, too, that unlike in Cape May County, where marinas really shut down early, I mean, these guys roll up the docks, they shut off the water, people are out, before Thanksgiving most of the time, leaving folks with this artificial ending to their season. You will find that North Jersey, Long Beach Island, Barnegat Inlet, north, a lot of boats who move out their summer and fall slip holders, they're offering transient seasonal rates for you traveling anglers if you want to bring the boat up. And I bring this up because I was speaking to Dave Huddy from Island Vista Marina down on East Bay Avenue in Barnegat recently. He has a late fall into winter seasonal special. If you want to head out of Barnegat Inlet to intercept some of those striped bass, $75 a week, or it's $200 to carry you through to the end of December. You can check out islandvistamarina.com to learn more. Tell Dave that Hutch sent you over there. Blackfish, black sea bass, porgies, all Dreamboat Fishing Challenge species categories in the mix for the rest of this month. You Fisherman subscribers only have until the end of this month to get yourself on the board. So remember that next week when you're out there on that tog trip that you've scheduled months ago, can't wait to get on the tog grounds. But if you're looking for that personal beast of a tog, don't forget the leaderboard in the Dreamboat Fishing Challenge. You bring that big fish back to a tackle shop, weigh it in, submit the entry form. You could land on the board and win yourself a great prize. We're going to go back to our virtual studios now, see if Tim has us an update on the Dreamboat Fishing Challenge and the Coastal Kayak Clash.
The winds of November have struck again. There are no new entries in the Dreamboat. So the rankings look like this. First place is Rashawn Williams with 27 points. Second place is Thomas Luciano with 20 points. Third place is Ahmed Solomon with 19 points. The same holds true for the Coastal Kayak Clash. Rothanong is in first place with 6 points. Dustin Stevens is in second place with 6 points. And Bob Wagner has 5 points. Let's hope for less wind.
Oh, there's a lot of hand-wringing right now among surfcasters wondering if the blitz conditions are over. Sadly, I don't think they've even really started. And with things getting cooler already, it may be a quick one when it does catch fire, but it ain't over. I'm pretty certain of that. I've been wrong about this for how many weeks straight. So who am I to give a prediction? But I still think it's going to happen. And I think it's going to happen this week. Saturday. Looking at the weather forecast for Saturday, I think it looks it looks like a gem. I know one of the big challenges this year, and I think it actually contributes to the reports, is the beach cams. If you've ever looked at the surfer's view, you'll see beach cams all up and down the coast, and a lot of folks follow the beach cams once they see the bait and the mix. They see things happening. They're on the beaches. Well, a lot of the beach cams at the Jersey Shore have been down since the nor'easters earlier this year. And I think maybe with the beach cams being down, that's led to fewer technological reports. I know my phone, it's over here. I have it on vibrate when I do this video fishing forecast, because usually this time of year, I've gotten a dozen texts by now telling me where the bite is, where friends are, and I haven't gotten a text in the last 30 minutes. But again, here's what we're going to do. We're going to end the week with another salivating clip from days gone by. This is November 20th, 2021, 4 years ago in the Spring Lake areas. Peanuts were being pushed in tight by hungry striped bass. We'll call it 30 seconds of insanity to end the week. Keep your fingers crossed, because when I look at these videos from years past, I know that it ain't over yet. The fat lady ain't singing. God bless our vets. My sincere thanks, gratitude to those of you who served. Veterans Day isn't just a day to celebrate. Your service and dedication to this country is something that I appreciate every single day. So God bless you all. Keep your fingers crossed, and I'll see you on the beach this weekend.